So anyway, I'm going to introduce John Burgess next, who I understand has just got back from a picket line, so it should be quite an exciting contribution.
I'm just going to... Picket lines are quite interesting, aren't they? They can travel about. I carry this everywhere. So I'm down putting my Unison picket line shirt and welcoming you all to join Barnet Unison on strike today. Thank you very much, okay? When I were asked to speak at this meeting, the subject being how do we build solidarity in the trade unions, I did think, well, have they asked the right person for that? But I feel very passionate. I've been working in trade unions for 30 years and I've done a lot of time in the early years in the private sector organising unorganised people, apparently, and the last 20 years in Unison. I've lost count of the amount of picket lines that we've organised in Barnet. It isn't because I'm getting dementia, but we have a very difficult employer that wants to outsource all of the council services, and for the last 5 years our branch has been at war and has been on strike throughout, off and on, for over 50 different groups of workers across the council. And when we say we're going to fight tooth and nail to defeat privatisation, we mean we're going to fight tooth and nail to fight privatisation. The workers that were out today were part of that struggle. Before outsourcing the library workers, they are, incredible as it sounds, 46% of those workers are going to be sacked. They're going to be sacked. They're going to be replaced by machines, which will preclude people, well, young children under the age of 15 won't be able to go in the library because there'll be no staff in them. Access issues for people with disabilities because there'll be no staff in them, and libraries have become, sadly, in austerity places where people have retreated to, and sometimes there are issues in libraries. So 46% of the workers are going to be sacked if we don't stop them. There is going to be a meeting on the 6th of December up in Hendon Town Hall where we're giving a last chance to turn things around. I welcome people who can come up and make us. On the week before that, the 28th of November, the library workers are going to be out on strike for the whole of that week. So if you've got a meeting and you want to invite some Barnet library strikers to a meeting to raise money or just to give us solidarity, that'd be much appreciated. So the 28th of November, if you want to outline some of the stuff. Just a quick thing about DPAC. I have to say I enjoyed working with DPAC on the National Libraries demo last week. Absolutely fantastic. And I want to thank them for helping, even though I've gone colourblind, to make them lovely banners that they're very good at doing. That was excellent. But I just make an offer, which I did send out to DPAC 3 weeks ago, that we're in touch with Ken Loach's office, and we're looking to organise an event where we're going to hire out the film I, Daniel Blake. If we can fund it ourselves, or we'll do it with another union, and we're going to have DPAC come and speak with Ken on a Q&A, and all the money that we raise are going to give it to DPAC. One of the lessons that I know it's always said, but I have to see much more evidence that it's done effectively in order to protect our class from the brutality of austerity, is about how brilliant and how infectious it is if you do joint working with everybody. And DPAC are inspirational. I think sometimes the trade unions hide behind DPAC. DPAC lead from the front. I think it's unacceptable, and I think there should be a fund from all the trade unions and the TUC that does give DPAC the resources they need, because they put their bodies on the line, and I do think it's something that we should be supporting. I'll admit it, I'm in the Labour Party. I don't know for how much longer. I'm surprised, I still am actually. But nobody could be more happy than me about Jeremy and John. I now say that we've had a relationship with them before they became famous. It is a bit more difficult to get hold of them, but they do come down to our picket lines, both of them, something that other Labour MPs have never, or even the Labour councillors sometimes, never seen sight of. And for our workers, it's been brilliant that we could have these people coming down and saying there is an alternative. But I had this worrying feeling when we saw that the war's still going on, isn't it, in the Labour Party? They're determined to try and unravel, and we can't wait till 2020. I've been banging on in my union saying, why are we waiting, why are we waiting, why are we waiting? Because my worry is we wait till 2020, something like the library service will be gone, the NHS will be, not completely, but good chunks of that could already be outsourced. And I think one of the things that I think people were picking up in the speeches earlier and this afternoon is about leadership, isn't it? And leadership at the very highest level, not over you there with the Bakers Union, you're a very great union, I've got to say. But they're missing opportunities, aren't we? I was so disappointed that the junior doctors thing was let. They were let, and it reminded me of the miners' strike back in the 80s where the TUC turned their back when we had an opportunity to fight for our class, stand up for our class. And here we had the junior doctors. They were riding on a sea of public opinion. Everybody had, where was my union? Where was my union declaring a dispute that's the same thing as the junior doctors about on social hours payments, yeah? And the thing about our class, isn't it, we understand that, don't we? I've heard some other speakers today and many other times, people say, members on the picket line, and certainly they do in Barnet, when is everybody else going to join us, John? Why were we always doing this? Why aren't we out with other unions? Why isn't there a national? 6 years, 700,000 people have lost their jobs. There's people in employment, but on worse terms and conditions. People are not going to have a decent pension scheme. There's been no strikes on a national level in 6 years. That is shameful. It is shameful. And I'm not having a go at you guys here because you guys know it. But we have to up our game. We really have to up our game because our children are not going to have anything left if we don't do it. And if people who know me, I always have a thing about being positive. And there are two campaigns that I was been proud to associate myself, and that's the Durham TAs. Yeah. And I'd like a commitment from people around here that you're going to join Barnet Unison and bring your banners, because we're going marching, aren't we, in the gala at the big meeting in July. If you've never been, you've got to get there. It is an exceptional experience, and I'm going to carry on going to the Durham Gala till the day I die, because that is where we should be. And that is the Labour heartlands, and it is a shame on the Labour Party up there, who are not Jeremy supporters, what they're doing to those women. But what those women have shown us and shown me, and I'm knackered. But when I see those faces, and I've taken my glasses off so I can't really see them well, but their campaign is where we're going. It reminds me of this lad's going to be telling us as well. And what the unions have got a purpose in our society. Some people try and say that we don't. But it isn't all bureaucracy. It's fun, it's exciting, and there's a real reason to do it. And that's a campaign. But one thing that we have, in my opinion, got to learn, we stick with them until it's over. You never give up, you never go until you win. And we will not be going anywhere. And I look forward to the rally and the demonstration up in Durham, where we're all there, clapping them in, because we've won and defeated their struggle. The other thing... The other thing I just want to talk about is that National Libraries demo last week. That was organised by about 8 grassroots activists. I've told the group earlier today, we were sitting in a pub after we'd done some solidarity. Barnet Unison had taken our banner down to Bromley, and I told them we marched there. We didn't really, we got on the train. But it was impressive, wasn't it? So we went there, it was brilliant, DPAC, Bromley Unite. Sadly, no Bromley Unison because of, well, I can't say unless... We're not on the internet, are we? But sadly, sadly Bromley Unison weren't there, and that was no fault to do with the members at all. But after that meeting, we just said, you know what? And I was with the library activists, says, we're sick to death of our union promising we're going to do something about libraries. 8,000 workers have been sacked in libraries. 350 libraries have been closed. Libraries will soon be gone by 2025 if we don't stop that decline. So we says we'll organise a national grassroots campaign, and we did. It was hard, but it was fun, and it was great working with the PCS, DPAC and Unite. Absolutely fantastic, and I've learned how to make a banner now. But don't smell the acrylic paint, because you get a bit high on that. But my point that I was making about that strike, it was never for London. London was the first step of the tour. So have we got any people from outside London here? Yeah. All right then, well, I'm going to start an auction. Which region are we going to in spring? North East. We got any other bids? Eastern. Lincolnshire. Shropshire. Right then. After this meeting, come and see me because we need to take it. There is another bid on the table. Warrington. I've never been there myself. But that will be the focus. That is definitely going to be one of the focuses for a regional, national demonstration. And I can't underestimate it when you're a worker or a community fighting, when somebody comes into your manor, whether they've travelled 5 miles or 500 miles, and they say they support you. That's called solidarity. Yeah? And that's what we've got. That's what we've got. And we understand it, but we've got to get better at delivering it and making sure that we stay with people all the line. There's an in-joke in Unison, because somebody says, we'll leave nobody behind. Yeah? He always says that, we'll leave nobody behind, and we're all going, yeah, well, that'll be till 5 o'clock when conference finishes, and then, way. And that isn't acceptable for us, is it? We're grassroots. We're not here just to talk and shout and rant. We're here to organise workers. There's been a brutal, brutal attack on workers, and we must organise, and I believe that we can organise and we can win. I'll finish on this. Are we going to save the libraries? Yes! Are we going to save the libraries? Yes! Solidarity.